Hey guys, this is Shannon from Chandelier, one of the admins of Blog Passion Project, and today I'm just going to be running through like a few things to get the most out of your analytics. I know that we've had a lot of questions come through about analytics, and I know when I first started out, I definitely didn't know what kinds of things to look at and I mean, I still don't know a ton, but I do know a little bit. So I'm just going to run through some of that and hopefully it'll give you a few more things to learn about your blog. I also just want to say don't judge my page views. I mean, I know you wouldn't judge me, but just wanted to throw that out there. So, anyways, the first thing you want to do is just obviously log into your analytics account. If you're already signed into the email address associated with it, you should be logged in. If not, just log in. So the first thing you want to look at is just audience overview. This kind of tells you the basics about your site and what's been going on. So we're just going to look at the month of January. So you can go up into the corner, change the date range, and just apply that. So you can see in January, I had about 1,300 sessions. So like it says, a session is the time period a user is actively engaged. So this isn't all your page views. It's just the amount of people that were actively engaged. You know, they came, they scrolled through, they may have visited a few different pages. And then as far as page views go, I had 2,300. And those came from about 1,000 users. So I had 1,000 people visit my blog. Some of them may have visited more than once, and some of them were more engaged than others, which is why these numbers are all a little bit different. And you can also see how many pages on average were visited in a session, and then the average duration that someone stayed on your site, as well as your bounce rate, and the percentage of new sessions. So 73% of these 1,000 people were new visitors to my site. They had never been there before. Which is pretty interesting to know. So if your goals are more to have people returning to your site, that can be a good number to see and make some changes based on that. So these are just kind of the basics. It also shows you, languages. You can click on country, see what countries people are coming from, cities, operating systems, that kind of thing. So you can go ahead and click around on those and see a little bit more. The next thing you'll want to look at is demographics. So this can show you a little bit more about who the people are that are coming to your site. So if I click on that, I can see the majority of the people who are reading my blog are between the ages of 18 and 34, which is awesome. That's totally the people that I'm trying to hit. And 84% of them are female, which is also great. That's definitely, who my target audience is, so it's great to see that I'm hitting that. You can also look at deeper analytics on age and gender if you click on those two tabs. The other thing you want to see is behavior, so you could already see a little bit of that on the overview page. If you want to dive into it a little bit more, this shows you the exact numbers. So I had 1,018 new visitors, 371 returning visitors. So you can make adjustments based on that as well. And then the other interesting thing to see, if you click on mobile under audience and you click on overview, you can see how many people are coming from which devices. So I have 56% of people are coming to my site from their desktop and 38% are coming from mobile. So it's pretty interesting to see that. If you have a lot of visitors coming from mobile, which is getting more and more common, you might want to make sure that your mobile site is looking awesome, it's easy to use, and that kind of thing. And then 5% from tablet as well. So those are just some interesting things to look at in general. Okay, and then one more thing under the audience tab is the user flow. So I don't really use this a ton, but it is interesting to see. So this kind of shows you where people are entering your site and then where they're going from there. So you can see the majority of people enter my site on the home page. Since it just has a slash there, that means it's the home page. And then from there, 18% of people leave, and then this many people kind of go on to another page. And so then you can see the little paths where they go. So a lot of people go to the About page after they get to my home page. Some of my recent posts that I had published in January, they're going to. And then you can also see some of the other pages that are popular to land on, like this Portland Weekend Food Guide. I published that back in last summer, and it's still been getting a lot of traffic from Pinterest. So that's one of the biggest entrance points to my site. But then you can see like most people just leave after that because they came to see and they got what they wanted. So it's just kind of interesting to see, and sometimes you'll see paths that go back to another page, which can show you that there might be a pain point there. They might be confused and they need to go back. Just some interesting things to see with your site, so you can kind of make the journey through your pages as easy as possible. Okay, so the next thing you want to look at is acquisition. And then you'll go under all traffic and channels. So this will tell you a little bit more about where people are coming from when they get to your site. So you can see the majority of my visits are from social, and then direct. So direct is when people type your URL into their browser and come straight to your site. They already know what they're looking for. Referral, those come from another site that links to me, and then organic search comes from Google or Bing or someone searching for something. And landing on Chandeleur.com. So then if you click on these, you can see even more. So if I click on social, I can see that my #1 social site is Pinterest, closely followed by Facebook, StumbleUpon. You can kind of see the number and the percentage of people that are coming from each of those sources, which is pretty interesting. It can give you kind of an idea to focus more of your promotion in one place or to improve in another place. And then it's also interesting to look at referrals. Most of mine come from ShareButtons or Bloglovin, but then there's also a couple other blogs that they come from, like Dirt in My Shoes. I had a post featured on there last year, and I'm still getting a few visits from there. Some of our other passion project members are giving me a little bit of traffic, which is awesome. So just kind of some interesting things to see, and see if you want to put any more attention into some of these areas. And then you can see these other ones. You can dive in a little bit more to those as well. And some other channels that might show up on here are email, if you're tagging your email newsletters or emails you're sending out. If you're running any ads for your blog through Google, those would show up on here as well, as long as they're tagged correctly. And so depending on what you're doing to promote your blog, you may have some other additional sources on here. So then the other thing is search engine optimization. So under here you can see what kinds of things people are searching in order to land on your blog page. So if you haven't connected Google Search Console, when you come to this page, you'll see a little thing pop up saying you need to connect it. Just click on that button, follow through those steps. If you have any questions about that, just leave it in the comments on this video or send us a email and we can help you get through that process. But once you have that set up, you'll be able to see these. So you can see it automatically sorts these by the number of impressions. So if people are on Google, they put in one of these queries and your site pops up and they scroll past it, that counts as an impression, and then you can see clicks over here. So I get I show up for BarkBox review queries, but no one really clicks on it. So I like to sort by click so I can see where people are landing. Clearly I'm not doing too well on Google, but I am getting a few clicks from there. So it's just kind of interesting to see what posts are doing well and what people are looking for on Google. And then you can also look at landing pages and sort that one by clicks too. So a lot of people are finding this post through Google as well as some of these other ones. So it's kind of interesting to see, and it can help you give you some new post ideas. So since I know that this post is doing the best for me with organic traffic, I could write another post about being a chef wife or something else along those lines. And then same thing for like Zion National Park. And you'll kind of see based on your blog what's doing well. So I always love to look at that when I'm really running out of ideas and just see, what I could do in order to get some more traffic from the things people are searching. So last thing is how to look up your post views, which is obviously something that you're probably going to want to do the most. So you have to go under behavior, site content, and then all pages. There's a couple of different ways to search. So it automatically just sorts these as the most viewed post for the time frame that you're in. So during the month of January, this one was my most viewed, and then some of these other ones were new posts and they got quite a few views. If you're looking for a specific post, you can either paste the end of the URL in here, or you can go to page title and search, Portland food guide, and then it will come up and you can see the page views, total page views, unique page views, so 254 unique people viewed this post, average time on page, that kind of thing. If you want to see, based on just this one post, how people are getting to it, you want to click on secondary dimension, acquisition, and then source, and it'll come up with where people were right before they clicked on your post. So most people were on Pinterest for this one. It also got a few clicks from direct, and then just a couple on Facebook and StumbleUpon. So that kind of tells you where each post is doing the best. If I went to another one, say I wanted to do the Zion National Park one, I would just do the same thing, source, and then it would show me Pinterest. It's doing well. StumbleUpon, that one's doing pretty well. You can look at those for each post, and I know that's pretty helpful for me because if I see something's doing really well on Pinterest, maybe I'll do a promoted pin around it. Maybe I'll pin it to some more group boards and see if it can get some more traction. And if it's doing well on Facebook, maybe I'll post it again, different things like that. So those are kind of the few things that I wanted to run you guys through on analytics. If you have any other specific questions, just let us know and we can help you out. Like I said, I'm not an expert at analytics, but if I know what you're looking for, I can most likely figure out how to find it. So just let us know. Thanks for being awesome members of Passion Project, and we'll have another tutorial for you next month. All right, see ya.